Wu once said, "The only reason for being a bee is to make honey, and the only reason for making honey is so as I can eat it." But even though this was in 1966, humans have wondered for over thousands of years why a bee makes honey. Now, most of us use honey on a pretty regular basis, so why not dive into its unique and interesting uses? Researching this topic was really easy because of honey's sweet and significant past. Today, I'm going to be going into honey in folklore, history, and medicine. So first, I'm going to talk about honey in folklore. Have you ever wondered about where the term honeymoon comes from? Alison Berry from Time.com states how the bride's father in ancient Persian weddings would provide the newlywed couple with all the mead that they could drink. This was done because it was believed that honey was a powerful aphrodisiac and natural fertility enhancer. So that's where the term honeymoon comes from. Mead, which is a honey wine for one full moon, honeymoon. Most of us are also familiar with the story of Zeus, but a lot of us may not be aware of Zeus's father, Cronus, who was notorious for eating his children. So in order to protect Zeus's mother, Rhea, actually hid him away and let him be taken care of by nymphs. And one nymph in particular, whose name was Melissa, was a bee nymph, and she brought Zeus up on lots and lots of honey. And later on, the article goes to say that Zeus believed that honey was so powerful that it could raise the dead, which is why many believe that Zeus had powers greater than any other god. But honey is also part of our history and not just our folklore. Mihai Andrei from ZMEScience.com explains how mad honey, which is a honey that causes hallucinations and euphoria, was used by Persian soldiers to defeat the Roman soldiers. So what happened was the Persian soldiers knew of this mad honey and they set barrels out all around for the Roman soldiers to find. And when the Roman soldiers found the barrels of mad honey, they ate it and were deemed unable to fight, and that's the story of how Persian soldiers took out a bunch of Roman soldiers, 1,000 to be exact. A lot of us also are aware of honey as an embalming material in ancient Egypt, and it was used to mummify corpses. But something really interesting that I learned in my research, I found out from Maddie Stone from Gizmodo.com, that honey is also used in a process called mellification. And mellification is really, really weird. What happened was that in ancient Arabia, old men would do a self-sacrificial process. This was mellification. It was self-sacrificial. And what they would do was that they would only eat, drink, and bathe in honey until they died, because obviously humans can't survive on honey alone. So when they died, they would be lowered into a casket full of honey and leave them in the ground for a few centuries, and then after a few centuries passed, they would dig them up, and the corpses would be mellified and turned into a sort of rock candy. And they believed that this special rock candy made of honey and corpses could heal just about anything, even broken limbs. And this was a very honorable process, and the pieces of mellified man were actually very expensive. And this sounds really, really crazy, but there's actually some scientific evidence that supports this. So honey has a lot of amazing chemical properties that make it really good for healing and preserving. IndianaPublicMedia.com kind of goes into this. They explain how honey really can't go bad because it's naturally a preservative. So going deeper into this, it's because of honey's osmolarity. And honey's osmolarity is basically its ability to draw water out from bacteria and yeast, which prevent them from thriving. So therefore, honey is a natural antibacterial. Asian Pacific Journal of Tropical Biomedicine even goes deeper into honey's medicinal properties. Honey actually has a really high acidity, which prevent the growth of bacteria. And also it has natural enzymes that produce hydrogen peroxide, which we all know is a very potent antibacterial. And finally, honey is a very viscous fluid. So when it's placed topically on the skin, it creates a really nice barrier so that debris can't get in and cause infections. Anna Hod O'Connor from the New York Times explained how honey is so great for burn patients, specifically minor burn patients. Honey is a miracle worker, but in patients who were suffering from minor burns, the ones who were treated with honey actually healed a lot better and faster than the ones who were treated with traditional healing ointments or medicines. So today we learned about how honey has played such a big role in our folklore, history, and medicine, both in our past and in our present. So whether you are sitting atop Mount Olympus, you are trying to fight off some Roman soldiers, or just suffering from a small burn, let's think about Winnie the Pooh, and in times of relaxation or celebration, just sit back and enjoy the succulent, sweet, savory sensations of honey.